We've all done it once, so we only have to do it every 3 years.
Correct.
What are all our retirees? All of our retirees. Did they get like the flowers at the Friday? Yeah.
Excellent.
I know I'm gonna say them all.
Are you reading those or me? Reading them? We can't.
I'll read them, but I just want to make note of the people that are actually here.
Just two.
From Student Council, 1979 to 80.
That what it says on there?
Board of Education from 1979 to 80, Student Council. That's a long time ago.
It's tradition. Someone getting the closed session so that her family wants to be here. So she's gonna reach out. She's gonna come home. She said, I noticed it. It looks like yeah. So we can look you up.
Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Jessica? Yes. Steve? Andrew?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes. Good evening. This evening we've invited several guests of honor to be with us. We have several retirees to recognize. They were honored at the District Teacher in Service Luncheon on Friday, but today we have a few honored guests. We have Carmen Holzbush And Carmen is a retired EHS teacher. Her hire date was 2005, and she has 18 years with the district. Congratulations. And then also with us is John Taylor. John is a bus driver, and he was 22 years with the district, but your hire date is not on my list, so we'll all do the math. 2001? No, 2001?
Early got hired on 03.
03, okay. Congratulations on your retirement. Thank you. So also retiring this year, we had Michelle Slater at ELC. She was a teacher for 18 years with the district. Wendy Gunther at EHS, Parapro from, she was hired 2002 and 2018 for 11 and a half years with the district. Karen Littleford at Central, an art teacher, hired in 1991 with 32 years with the district. Annette Shackman, Central School teacher, hired in 1990, 33 years with the district. Darlene Fothery at Southside, a teacher, hired in 1992, 31 years with the district. Her husband Joe, a EHS teacher, hired 1990 with 33 years with the district. Deborah Spence, Southside teacher, hired in 2002, 21 years with the district. Rick Schmidt, in maintenance, hired in 1983, 40 years with the district. Lily Stevens, transportation, she was hired in 2005, 18 years with the district. Sue Getz, a cook at EHS, hired 2001, 22 years with the district. Christy Elliott, a teacher at the junior high, hired in 2001 and again in 2018, 9 years with the district. Sharon Macklin, secretary at Central, hired 1990, 33 years with the district. Kathy Peters, a cook at EJHS, hired 1998, 25 years with the district. I just want to say thank you, congratulations, and a big round of applause for all of our retirees.
Don't be strangers. We appreciate you coming back around and visiting with us and letting us know what retirement feels like.
Good.
I'm sure, absolutely. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to recognize any visitors that have come to address the board. There being none, we will proceed with the financial report.
Okay, financial report, fund balances at this point, 2.5% decrease over last year's net fund balance. We are at $25,229,350.97. Operating funds are down 5.73% decrease over last year. Net total of $21,902,063.84. Revenue for this past month at the local level, $560,562.79. State, $620,897.58. Federal level, $592,327.70. At this time, the recommendation would be to reimburse the imprest account in the amount of $2,639.63 and to approve the bills, payment of bills for $1,431,404.19. Questions?
Does anyone have any questions?
Did Brad have a chance to finish 2 the 9 10?
No, he's off today. But we might be able to with Ryan here. Do you know, and if you don't right now, we can look into it for the next board meeting, but our expenses were up in comparison to last year in the food service. My guess was going to be that we were dealing with COVID stuff still last year. We're probably serving more, which means we need more supplies, which means, am I correct on that initial analysis?
Right, and the deficit with what the families owe us also is there too. So we're looking at about $11,500 in my department alone, the family goes right now, so.
Okay. No, I was just curious. There was a little bit of a difference last year versus this year, and so I was just curious about the.
We did purchase a lot of equipment also. Our fryers were leaking all over, so it was a safety hazard, so we spent that. I waited 11 months to get the new fryer that just got here, so that amount. There's been several large purchases. We had to buy a dish machine at the junior high, so that was $39,000. So there were some major expenses in equipment, things like that too, so.
Okay. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
We'll try to get some stuff for the next one. The other side to that is, I thought your question was pertaining more to the budget amendment that we're looking at.
Oh, this was in the financial package.
Okay, it was.
Just
Okay.
year-to-date versus last year-to-date. So that's looking at
Okay.
food service and purchase services, but.
So that takes care of food service. We'll get purchase service for you.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
So I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the financial report to reimburse the interest account in the amount of $2,639.63 and the payment of bills in the amount of $1,431,404.19. Motion by Chad. Second by Desha. Roll call.
Chad,
Yes.
Desha,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes.
Okay, moving along to the consent agenda in your minutes. There's minutes, the cafeteria report, and summer camps. The additional summer camps are a football youth camp by Coach Hefner from July 10th through the 14th, and junior high boys basketball camp going to Mattoon for a free shooting clinic. And with that, that looks like all of the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? A motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Andrew,
Second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Desha,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad.
Yes.
Next, I have correspondence. Andy Johnson and members of the Board of Education, thank you so much for providing lunch during the Teacher Staff Appreciation Week. We appreciate this thoughtful gesture. Sherry Martin and the Southside team, and they all signed by the teachers. To our BOE, you're the best from Central Grade School, and I'm going to assume that's for lunch as well. Unit 40 Board of Education, thanks for the Jimmy John lunch during Teacher Appreciation Week, the third grade teachers. Thank you for your generosity. And I believe this is all, oh, on the back. Thank you so much for the delicious lunch. Your support and appreciation is felt all year. We're grateful for such a supportive group, and that's from the high school. And then lastly, thank you for the many gifts and kind words. I'm especially thankful that I had the opportunity to devote my energy and time to the Unit 40 school community. I already miss my board time, but you know, you will continue your good work. Thanks again, Robin. Have on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
Foundation report's attached. I don't know if you had time to look over it. God's here if we have any questions of any kind. Not. Enrollment, as you can see, is 2,310. This is 2 less students from the previous month. However, it's 180 more students than it was this time last year. I think that probably, again, goes back to something we were alluding to earlier with some of the bill stuff. You know, it's hard to compare the last 2.5 years to this current year because we're coming off of COVID in so many different areas there. So, but numbers are numbers, and that basically is where we are approximately. So I think that's been pretty steady. I haven't looked at it from the beginning of the year, but I think that's been pretty steady throughout most of the year. I think we've stayed pretty good right now, at least from what I can tell. FOIA requests, you got 3, but a Smart Procure, which is the it seems to be a common FOIA request to every single district in the state of Illinois. You probably comment to that, could you, Katie? University of Kentucky, I don't know if you've been aware, okay, you've been aware of this one a little bit. We do have some concerns on this one moving forward that we'll probably work with you on. That was seeking information on our students, and it's not exempt at this point based on how it played out. So they did get that information, email, contact, something of that nature. They're not getting vital information from our students, but we'll make sure we're working on that. I think a lot of school districts probably are working on that moving forward. Maybe they jumped through a loophole. And then the third one's the Illinois Department of Labor. And again, I'm not at liberty, to be honest with you, to get outside the box on what that is about. That's dealing with one of our vendors. And I've been told not to buy the request, but that's not to be shared with the public. So I think there's some homework being done, maybe on a vendor that has worked for our district and many others. Questions on any of those before I turn the floor over to Emily? Emily's going to give us a little bit of a tech update. Not a whole lot of change from our last meeting, but I did ask her. Absolutely. We're trying to get her home. She's had a rough weekend and some sick kiddos and some things like that. So
Okay.
I appreciate her
We're
being
here.
here tonight.
All right. First of all, I want to thank all of you, especially this board, for your continued patience and support during kind of our crazy cyber attack. And the last 3.5 months have been pretty trying for my department. And I also want to thank pretty much everybody in here, these building administrators, principals, assistant principals, Jenny and Shelley have been absolutely phenomenal in supporting. They've never once pointed the finger. They've always just said, tell us what we need to get done. We'll get it done. And I think that is commendable. And it's not just them. It's also, our teachers, our secretaries, our parapros, and even our students were impacted by this. And everybody shifted and they stepped up to do what needed to get done in a time of crisis and in an impressive way. I know, and I saw the extra hours that were put to return us to a state of normal. So in our classrooms, in our offices, in our cafeterias, I know how much time everybody put into everything. And it wasn't just the tech team that had to do the extra hours. And I know, and I saw everything that you guys did, and I appreciate it. Excuse me. While I would never wish this situation upon anyone, the lessons we have learned have really been tremendous. And I know that we are and will be better because of it. So this is just really a brief update as to what we've done for our security upgrades. A lot of it was more detailed by timeline, kind of in your guys' board packet. Those dates were really when services are actually returned. So it's not when we started those things, if you see that timeline, because I think there was a question about that. So for example, student laptops, we'll start working on those next week. So we have a list of summer to-do items. So kind of just a brief what we've done. And again, I'm going to kind of not go into the details and specifics, as that's not best to maintain the security of your systems, but just so that people are kind of aware of all the different avenues and aspects that have gone into getting us in a better state, infrastructure-wise and just user-wise, just security-wise. So what we've done, our network, we did hire a third-party organization to help investigate our network outage. We've applied patches to all systems, updated our firewall, reconfigured our Wi-Fi, and strengthened password policies. Our data storage and backups, we've ensured multiple backups, cloud and physical, and off-site physical, are functioning correctly, and we've purchased a new data server and storage solution. These were part of a security camera upgrade anyway, but with what happened, it kind of accelerated all of that. Workstations, and when I say workstations, I mean staff desktops, laptops, and student labs. We scanned and updated every workstation before allowing a user to use the device, and on the network, we strengthened back-end security. We've updated to a newer version of our antivirus software engine, which provides more advanced endpoint protection. User security, that human firewall is just as important as anything else. We have enforced two-factor authentication for our staff. We do still have a few minor groups that need to get completed. We've set up additional security measures for our financial system. We've completed professional audits to further secure our Google and environment, and we completed a phishing campaign recently, and those results will be examined for further training and education. In the process, we're still constantly going to be in the process, making sure that we're using best security practices, revising policies and procedures, and also expectations for end users will change to use more secure methods. Cybersecurity training, our summer work list, we're going to touch every single student device, teacher device, iPad, smartboard, BenQ, all 3,500 devices to ensure that they're updated and ready to go in August. Continually, as we move forward, this was a learning experience. We're going to continue to maintain those upgrades and patches, educating staff and students on cybersecurity, completing penetration testing and security audits, testing the integrity of our backups, engaging in tabletop exercises so our team can act efficiently, quickly, effectively, should the situation ever arise again, and then maintain best security practices. So that's kind of just a quick summary of what we've tried to get done in the past 3 months. So that's where we're at.
Questions for Emily? You've done a great job, and we've been very fortunate. I believe Kevin's back here that we can also call out that devotes his day every single day to this mission, and he was tremendous throughout that as well. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Emily.
to everyone.
See you tomorrow. Maybe.
Can I see?
Yes, go. Couple more items that I actually don't have on there. First and foremost, I want to say thank you, obviously, to the group that's sitting here, but even more so to anyone that would run into a member of the staff. Obviously, you as a board, it's been an incredible year. When you look back on it, that, as Emily stated, that the things that we have grown from and gotten better from are incredible for where we're going for the future. And I'm excited about that for our students and the community, as I believe there's a lot of good things going on. We do have a marketing communications person that should be starting very soon with us, and you'll start seeing more of those things that are behind the scenes in my hopes, so that you fully understand the magnitude of what does take place in our district when we purchase a daycare, or we go through a crisis with the technology background, or we deal with the magnitude of special education. I mean, we've just got lots and lots and lots in the district that really does not get seen, that I am ecstatic and proud to be a part of this district for. So hats off to all of you sitting in here, including the board. Appreciate you. It's been a good year. I mean, we look back and it was tough, absolutely. But when it's all over with and we can look backwards and say, we did it, and did it at a very high level, is pretty impressive, especially with what all that was thrown at us. So thank you for what you did through all that. And then I'll finish with my section by, again, many of you, as before we started the board meeting, met Katie Locallo, that's seated right here up in the front. She is with our attorney firm that the district's been with for several years. Mr. Weedman, that Dennis Weedman, that used to be kind of the main go-to for this district in anything that we would need, dealing from the attorney standpoint, has moved on to Illinois State University to work with them. I believe that was about a week and a half ago or so. So Katie and I have had an opportunity to work together already for about a week and a half, and we're off to a great start, at least in my opinion. I hope she can say the same thing. She spent a little extra time down here today and was willing to come to the board meeting tonight. So welcome to our district. Thank you for what you're going to keep doing for us, and thank you for what your firm's done for years for us already. That's
Okay,
it for me.
you ready? Next on the agenda is new business, and we have the K-5 ELA curriculum adoption and instructional materials purchase.
We're going to let Shelley share with us.
All right, good evening. So I have a few items. The very first one is probably the largest. It is the K-5 ELA, which is English Language Arts Adoption. And just to give you a quick background, so we've been working on this for a couple of years. This past school year that we just completed, we actually ran 2 pilots, which comprised about half of every grade level. So we had a lot of people involved in the pilots. And at the end, the teachers were very thoughtful about what was going to be best for the students. And so I have the recommendations based on their feedback. So the first recommendation is Foundations from Wilson. That would be used at the kindergarten level. It is a multisensory phonics program, and it would be coupled with Wonders from McGraw-Hill. Wonders is a larger kind of big box program, but it has reading comprehension, writing, language, all of the other aspects of ELA that we would look for. And then in first and second grade, we would like to recommend Open Court from McGraw-Hill. Again, that has a very strong phonics base, but it also has the reading comprehension, language, grammar, and composition within it. And then third, fourth, and fifth would like to recommend Into Reading from Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. And Into Reading is another pretty robust program that has the same components basically to it: reading, writing. As the kids get older, you kind of get away from it being called phonics, but the phonics aspects show up in spelling. That's usually where you'll kind of see that transition getting made as the kids get older. And so, as I mentioned, it was a full year's worth of use. They all are aligned to the ELA standards that we're expected to meet K-5. We do have in place a very strong phonics plan, very strong phonics program. And then the last part of it is just kind of help you understand the way that the subscriptions work. So most of the textbooks now are not sold as like hardback textbooks. They're sold as workbooks. Sometimes they're referred to as work texts, where the students write in them. But the reading selection is in that, so everything is in that text. And so what you'll see in here is a refillable subscription for 8 years. So it'll be refilled for 8 years, but the digital will be re-upped for 8 years as well. So this will take us to the next adoption cycle. What questions do you have for me?
So when you say it's over 8 years, are they able to update those
Mhm.
through the process, so it's not just 8-year-old material?
Right. So it's web-based. The digital aspect is web-based, so it's not software that gets installed. So there's real-time updates that get made. And because we are getting annual work text shipments, the student work text will get updated basically annually, because they can't update the work text more often than that. The teachers will have hardback editions as well as digital editions. So most of their updates will run through the digital side, but if we have, major updates, we would get new teacher editions in the hardback version as well. Any other questions on the ELA?
Was it pretty near consensus from teachers on?
It was, yep, I read exactly to you what their preferences were. So I'm presenting to you exactly what their preferences were. We met, I know that it looks, it's several different things. So we did meet K1, some of the pilot teachers, just to make sure that that transition from K to 1 was going to be smooth. And so we built some things and put them into place for the upcoming school year. And then we also looked second and third. We also looked at that transition going from second to third and made sure that we would have a good transition for the students as well. Any other questions?
No, it's commendable for all of our teachers to go through this pilot and having a lot of different moving parts going on all at the same time. So hats off to them.
Well, it sounds very simple when I'm talking to you right here, but it's pretty complex because it's reading and phonics and spelling and handwriting and composition and grammar. It's a lot of stuff. And so the amount of materials that just one individual teacher gets is actually pretty enormous. And then you take that times 8 or times 9 teachers at a grade level. So it's a lot of materials. And then we went through the tech outage in the midst of the pilot. And so that became extremely interesting in the middle of trying to pilot something new. But it gave us an opportunity to see both sides, how did the digital work? And then we had to find out how the print worked because we didn't have a choice for a while. So it was a good opportunity to make sure that we explored all aspects of the programs, I believe.
Good.
And I'll just say from my standpoint, watching the administration, the teachers, the whole, the process of this is, I haven't had an opportunity to see that at the level that it's done at this district and the districts that I was in prior here. So I commend the district, Shelley, you and the staff that was involved in that whole process. Thank you for taking that time, because it's not easy, it's tedious, and as you said, there's many other things that were thrown onto it. So thanks.
Yes.
And it's expensive, but it's
Well, it is, but.
We got to take care of our
you know,
kiddos, and
we
this is
do.
the way you do it.
We do. The next recommendation that I have is for an assessment tool called FastBridge. It's from the company Renaissance. And what it would be used, we also piloted this. We didn't get to pilot it as extensively as we wanted to because it happened. We got it, the pilot started a couple weeks before the technology outage, and they are web-based assessment tools. So we did get an opportunity again to explore what was available in print. And so that was good because we do need to make sure that we kind of have a foot in both worlds. But what this tool will be used for is students who struggle. What we like to do and what's best practice is when you're assisting them with some type of an intervention program, you want to monitor how well they're doing with that program to see if you need to continue with the program or make a change. It's similar to, a doctor putting you on medication and they're going to kind of watch how you're doing. They might run some tests or some type of assessment and determine whether you need to adjust the medication or not. And so this is what we would like to be able to use with students who struggle to make sure that what we do have in place works well. And then at the same time, we are looking into providing a more robust social emotional element for our staff and students. And so this is actually another layer of that. This doesn't just have the academic reading and math assessment tools with it, but it also has a way to do a little bit of assessing on the social emotional side for students. And so we were able to pilot some of that this year. And so next year, what the plan is to use this same tool with one of the buildings and then see what kind of social emotional data we can get back, and then what kind of programming we might need to put into place for either individual students or for even the building as a whole. So that's what this tool is. When you pay for this, you actually pay for all of those assessments together. So you don't pay for reading and then math and then the social emotional. It's just a flat fee for all of them together. And this is representative for 1 year because we'll probably want to layer on possibly more buildings or more students depending on the direction we want to head on the social emotional side. So we may need to add more students. So this really just reflects 1 year subscription. Okay. Any questions on this one? No. Okay. Then the last item that I have for you is the Code HS program. So as part of legislation, we do need to be offering in the upcoming school year a computer science course. And so that course is going to be the web design course, and we needed to make sure that we had some curriculum that would go with it. What we would like to do is try Code HS. It comes from a high quality background in education. So coming from an education perspective and having curriculum for web design. It also is representative of having some training for the teacher just to make sure that they know how to operate that system. It will allow us to be able to deliver the course and the curriculum for this school year. And what we'd like to do is reassess if that's what we want to continue with or not, because we also would like to do a little exploring to see what else is out there, but yet SOPA compliant, because we do have to make sure that we abide by the SOPA regulations, which is the Student Privacy Act. Any questions?
I would also add, skipped you should have called me out on it. We have, for those that maybe are on virtual and maybe some that haven't been to meetings before, but we have a curriculum committee as well that this runs through, and Jill has served on that for, I don't know how long, few years.
Since inception. Has it been
Okay.
4 years?
40 years.
Probably.
And then Robin served on it, but Robin is now, with Robin stepping out, we probably need at some point another board member to jump into that. So that might be something, I'm guessing that's a board action that you've taken in the past to assign someone to that. So maybe we'll do that. Might do that in June. That sounds okay to you?
Mhm.
Okay. And then the last thing I would say about that before we take a recommendation to possibly approve this purchase, this will be purchased out of the FY24 budget, invoiced after July 1st, so it will not affect this year's. Thank goodness.
And this adoption, this number is all 3 of those programs
That's
that
correct.
she just
That's
mentioned.
all of it.
Okay.
Yep.
Your packet broke down each program, but we'll be presenting a total number in the motion. Does anybody have any questions? Discussion? Okay. So at this point, I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the K-5 ELA curriculum adoption and instructional materials purchased as presented at a total cost of $613,000, $613,112.08. Keeping in mind that this is an 8-year digital access and workbook shipment program for the ELA program, the assessment purchase is an annual expenditure. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Andrew,
Second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Session.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Shelley.
Thank you,
for your
Shelley. Thank you,
support. I
Jill.
do appreciate it.
Please pass that along to our pilot crew.
They
Yes.
did a great job.
Absolutely.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the first reading of press policy. The posting of the following policies for review and public comments would be, how do you say that?
I just do two, 110.
2, 110, 3, 40, 4, 60, 5, 30, 5, 90, 5, 125, 5, 150, 5, 170, 5, 260, 6, 135, 6, 230, and 8, 20. So this is just posting. There is no motion.
And I don't know if I don't know how you as a board, I think this might be the first time this year. Maybe we did one back in the fall. But if you want more details on these, we can provide them. We've got them. But honestly, in the district that I was in before, we didn't spend a lot of time on this. If you've got questions in the next 30 days, ask. We'll come back to you at the next board meeting for approval, and it goes into press. Most districts, you might chime in, most districts that I'm aware of follow press and approve it almost verbatim as we do here at this point right now.
Right. So it's all in your packet. That whole packet is in your packet.
Do you agree?
I generally agree, and press usually includes a note to consult with legal counsel if there might be some differing views on certain language in press. And so they expressly state that, and depending on the district, they may reach out or not if they have questions, and sometimes we may suggest modified language if the board is looking for that, but otherwise, Andy's absolutely correct.
Is there posted available for change till the next board meeting? That will be approved.
Yeah, I believe posted. It's in board book that the public can see it. Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approved resolution amending intergovernmental agreement with Eastern Illinois Education for Employment System 340.
This is an annual reoccurring agreement. We utilize these funds for multiple things. Salaries is one of them. It's kind of more on the vocational side, more so than anything. They represent, I don't know how many different districts, several in the area.
Okay. Are any questions or discussion? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the resolution amending the intergovernmental agreement with Eastern Illinois Education for Employment System 340. This is an annual review with EIEFES.
We call it EFS.
EFES, thank you.
Sorry. Yep.
Is that like easy? EFES.
Yep.
Got it. I'll remember that next time.
Next year.
I'm working on a cheat sheet for you. Trust me.
Motion by Desha,
Second.
second by Andrew. Roll call.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Desha.
Okay, next on the agenda is the discussion and approval to purchase Campus Lunch 2.0 software presented by Ryan Elsasser and Kevin McKenna.
This will probably be a two-part presentation. I'm gonna give you the good stuff, and then he's gonna come to you hard after that.
Thanks, Ryan.
Because that's what he does.
Good guy, bad guy? Is that what you mean?
I love that.
For that.
He's made me successful here.
Well, thank you for that.
We're a
I
team.
take
Makes
no
all of
credit.
us successful.
So I gave you a handout here. I don't know how many of you are familiar with CEP. CEP is Community Eligibility Provision. So what that is, it states that if you have in your enrollment 40% or higher that are direct certified through whatever form of looking for a word, through food stamps or any of those
Data collection service.
any of those forms. If you have more than 40% as a school or as a district, then you qualify for CEP. CEP gives you free meals for 4 years. So if you look at the second page has each one of our 5 schools there, and it has the number over on the right-hand side of the percentage of how many are in that building. So the only one that we aren't above 40% is the high school, and it's like almost 37%. But what they do is they figure from all of them put together. So that takes our percentage at, 44.73, which means we qualified, and Kevin and I submitted that, and we are qualified and have been accepted for the next 4 years. So all of our students will eat free in every building for the next 4 years,
Whether they qualify or not.
whether they qualify or not.
That's great.
The only way that they wouldn't is if they get a la carte or get extra milk or an extra portion or something like that. But what that means in layman's terms, basically for the high school right now, we're running at about $11,500 in the hole on our lunch accounts because people aren't paying their accounts. So that's a lot of money, especially since we just had the Watson Masons come in and give us $8,000 towards that in December. So we wiped out 8,000 and we're already at 12 again. So you do the math on that, that'll put you in the hole real quick. But what that does for us right now, because of the laws in Illinois or the government, the way it's written, we have to feed everybody every day. If they're hungry, we feed them. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't hand them a sack lunch. You can't single them out. You can't make anybody know that they're in need. You know, you give them what everybody else gets. That's how the law is written now. And it hasn't always been that way. I know when my kids are in school, they got a sack lunch if your balance got $10 in the hole or something like that. Well, you can't do that now. So what that means is all these kids have been able to go through the line and get something to eat, you know, and our cooks have allowed them to go through the regular line and get an order of fries or something that doesn't cost as much as the regular meal, because it doesn't do any good to send them to go through the regular meal if they're going to just go that much farther in the hole. So we've let them go $1.50 in the hole instead of $3.40 in the hole, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So now we are going to be able to tell them, If you're $10 or more, which is our policy, if you're $10 or more in the hole in your account, you go to line 1. Well, next year it'll be line 1 and line 2 because we're going to have more people going through that line. So that's going to wipe out a lot of that negative balance that we have right now. So if you do the math, and if you look on the third page, we're going to get reimbursed for every breakfast $2.07 and every lunch $3.41. This year, if you look at those numbers, that figures up to be about $241,000 is what that amount of money is going to be for us. And it's going to be elevated even more than that because of that, you got kids that are not eating breakfast right now because they're having to pay for it. If everybody's getting it for free, they're going to come in and have breakfast. They're going to come in and have lunch. You're not going to have as many people bringing snack lunches. So that number is going to go up even more. So if you do the math there for the 4 years, we're looking over $1 million that we're going to take in through that. So we feel that that's huge.
Over what we'd be taking in on the National School Lunch Program.
Right.
Great.
So those are the numbers, and I'll leave the rest with Kevin.
Now I get to ask for money.
So while he's passing those out, here's the other thing to think about though.
Oh, you just showed me.
We had high expenditures, as you stated a few minutes ago, on equipment,
Yes.
right? Why?
Because the high school right now is sitting at 23 years.
Oh,
And as a rule, you're at 20 years, you're going to start fixing or replacing or deciding whether you're going to replace things because things start going wrong with them around that 20-year threshold. So we end up having to make some hard choices at that point. And some of the buildings are even older than the high school. So
well, that money's not going to go to waste, and we're not going to be building up our bank accounts. We will reinvest that right back into the food program so that we're in a good situation there.
how many families is that going to bless? You know, I mean, people that
A lot.
that's huge for our community. Okay, I'm done.
I agree. Nope.
Thank you. Is that something that you had to actively seek out or?
They sent out emails and Kevin kind of came to me and say, hey, we probably ought to look at this because I don't see the percentages he does.
Okay.
So he's more into the figures and things like that than I am. So he says, I think we're real close to the 40. So then we did the math and figured it up, and yeah, we were. So
And you've applied for it before. No, we weren't eligible,
No, we weren't eligible.
but you've had an eye on it to apply for it
Yes.
and didn't qualify.
yes.
I think this is the first year where I felt confident
That we were.
eligible.
So even if the numbers change, it's a 4-year
For
deal.
4 years. And then after that 5th year, on that 5th year, if we don't go below 30%, we get a grace year so that we can go in.
So about potentially 5.
Maybe get our percentages back up again, or maybe not. That'd be great, honestly.
Also, what that means is we don't have to do free and reduced lunches forms like we've been.
Yes.
I mean, I'm still getting those this week in the mail. You know, people just can't swallow their pride and turn in the form. You know, saying I need help here. You know, they wait till they're $500 in the hole. But so we won't have to do that.
Everybody else relax. Here's the other side to that. It does create some complications on the flip side. We use that data for lots of other things other than just free and reduced. So it's in the works on a method that we'll be able to utilize there. Even ran that through the attorney today, and she's going to do some homework on us and help us as well. So we will get that lined out too. So thanks a ton, both of you, for that part.
All right, so now, get some goodwill here, thank you. 'Cause I know this isn't a
Now we turn the
little amount
page.
of money compared to what we're spending now, but I think it's needed, and I think it's been, I asked Rem, who was here when we rolled out our current nutrition software, and he said that he's pretty sure we rolled it out when we moved into this building, which was the year 2000.
Really?
23 years ago. I've been here since 2014, and the software has not changed. Not a little bit. It's been the exact same. It hasn't changed at all. And now it's really out of date. I mean, the interface is bad. functionally, it doesn't keep up what we need it to do. And I think it's time to move it into the cloud so we don't have to worry about that data anymore. I mean, with the network issue we had, our cloud data was safe, and I'm converted. I fought going to the cloud like nobody else. Nobody's here that remembers that. But I did fight going to the cloud, but after this, I can absolutely see that there's value there. And we would be sharing the cloud with our information system already. So that cost is not, we're not really incurring more of the cost there to go to the cloud if we go here. Their support, it's changed. We used to have a designated rep and it was great. Now we don't have that. We call into a call center and it's really difficult to get somebody that is able to help us. It took an extra 2 weeks roughly for us to get everything fixed when we were back up and running after our issue happened. The software worked great. We didn't lose any data. Can't complain about that. But I feel like if we had that data someplace else, we would have been up much faster. The other really good part about this is for the community and the parents. They will have to go to only one place to add lunch balances to their students. They'll have one portal. We can get rid of My School Bucks. They can go straight into the campus portal and they have all the features and everything they would need.
More features.
So cost-wise, sure. That is on the evaluation sheet over here, which should have been packet 2. Got a nifty little comparison of the features between the 3 softwares we looked at. We did look at a third software lunchtime, but I feel that going forward, it would be better. That would also require a separate portal for our parents to pay their balances and check their balances. The other bad part about that is overall, it's going to cost us more. The initial startup cost for Campus Food Services 2.0 is more, but after 2 years, we break even.
And like Chad, you had asked earlier who was involved in this. You had obviously the 2 of you and Emily, correct?
Yep.
Were involved heavily in the research side of it.
Yes. So
And is the annual rate, is that a flat rate?
that is flat rate. I can't promise it won't go up.
Is it based on
Vendors do
number?
that regularly. It's based on number of students. So it's a flat rate to our enrollment, which has stayed pretty consistent. This year they spiked because we had a lot of kids coming back after the COVID was over. Hopefully we can see that increase. I know our costs are going to increase, but that's a good thing that we have students coming back to the schools. So
And then the support is built into this
so
cost.
support is built into this cost.
And what about training?
Training is also built into that cost. The training specifically is
Yeah, they give us so many hours for each level.
$2,400. If we do not use all 16 of those training hours, we will be able to use them for other parts of Infinite Campus. So if we have new hires and we need to put them through a training, we can use those hours for that if we do not. And I'm estimating we won't use all 16 of those hours because we've only got 22 people to get trained on it. So that's
And a lot of
2
we can do in
trainings.
bulk training.
So, right.
Seems like it'd be easy for the parents too to have, I mean, if they already have the Infinite Campus app,
Right.
to just be able to pay.
Just go right in and
Bounces there.
out of balance. Yep.
Yeah, it'll be the same site as paying your school fees and all that. And the parent will have more control. So right now, they don't have the control. They can just go in and pay on the account.
Mhm.
They will have the control to go in there and say, I don't want Susie to have a la carte. I don't want them to have extra portions. There's different things that they can select on there to have more control, so that they can't say, well, my kid's not eating a la carte, which I get those calls all the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got the printout here, but it does give them a lot more control over what's going on.
You guys are a little late for me on this.
Sorry.
It's gonna save you a lot of money.
Yeah, free lunches, and your kids wouldn't have gone for a free lunch,
I'm
sorry.
sure you've checked on the security protocols of,
Yes, oh, absolutely. It is more secure. It's in the cloud. Access is gonna go through, the way they would access Infinite Campus, which is single sign-on, so they have to go through Google. And Google is as secure as we can make Google, and we're making it more secure every single day.
Any other questions? Discussion? Oh. I think it sounds like a good idea.
I think you're that.
I've heard my wife complain about the current system.
Yeah, okay, good. It's a little wonky.
We didn't have this. We had to send a check to school.
You still can. If you really want.
You could send somebody else.
And it was always my fault when my kids were in the hole, not because of my kids, not because they were. Okay, so a recommendation or a motion and a second to approve the purchase of Campus Lunch 2.0 software at the cost of $11,687 for 1 year and approximately $5,777 annually based on the same student count as FY23. Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Motion by Jane,
Second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Session.
Thank you guys for all
Thank
the
you.
work that you put into that. Great job.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the EZ representative. That says Andy.
Yeah, and basically, we're just looking for, I don't know if anybody wants to.
I'll make a nomination for Jane.
I've done it for the last, I don't know how many years, might as well.
How about that save us a lot of time?
Are you up to the task, Jane?
I don't know.
Same rate of pay as the previous.
That's right.
Is there anyone willing to be an alternate?
Where the meeting's at.
Steve did
And move
like.
Oh,
around.
Steve.
We've
But
been on
Jane's
Robertson.
reliable. She always
I'll be
goes.
happy to approve Steve as an alternate.
There we go. All right.
There we go.
Sounds good. Unit 40 annually appoints a representative for the governing board for the Special Education Co-op, EASY. The board meets twice a year, once on the fourth Tuesday in August and again on the fourth Tuesday in February. The August meeting is to approve the EASY budget, and the February meeting is to enact any necessary reductions in force or RIF. Both meetings start at 7 p.m. and typically last less than 1 hour. Jane Willenberg has served in this capacity for several years. The district needs a representative and an alternate. So I am looking for a motion and a second to approve Jane Willenberg as the Unit 40 EASY representative and Steve Bohm as an alternate.
Make a motion.
Motion by Chad,
Second.
second by Andrew. Roll call.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Session,
Yes.
Andrew.
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the E-rate proposal.
And I think she went on good.
Yeah.
Good, okay. Well, Emily's provided us with a little bit of information. I don't know if you want to read that.
I'll just read the summary on the agenda.
Yeah,
And then
that's
if
fine.
there's any questions or discussion, we can go through it that way.
Perfect.
E-rate funding supports the district's IT infrastructure by covering 70% of the costs, and the district covers the other 30%. We qualify for this discount based on our percentage of low-income students. USAC is currently reviewing our application for a private fiber build between the EJHS core and warehouse at $12,055.80, and a private fiber build between EHS core and the sports complex for $25,673.76, totaling $37,729.56. With the installation of more security cameras and other needs in these areas, fiber is a necessity. While the total cost of the special construction project is $37,729.56, if the district receives USAC approval, USAC would pay 70% of this project. In addition, if USAC approves the project, we would also qualify for the Illinois State Matching Grant, which covers the remaining amount. If all approvals are met, the project would be at no cost or little cost to the district. The board approved this project in May 2022, but USAC denied funding, so we did not proceed with the project. We are hopeful we will receive USAC approval this year. As such, if the district receives USAC approval and the Illinois State Matching Grant this year, we are recommending approval to move forward with the project. The only cost to the district would be for unanticipated costs that occur with any project, which would be minimal. Questions? Comments? Okay.
E-rate's something that I would highly encourage us to continue
Well,
using
right,
anytime we can get it.
right. So I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the special construction fiber builds at EJHS Warehouse and the EHS Sports Complex pending the award of USAC funding and the Illinois State Matching Grant. Motion by Andrew, second by Desha. Roll call.
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Desha?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval to pay staff a unit of work per ECTA CBA to work the Teens with Tools LLC Unit 40 camps for the summer of 2023. Have any more information on that?
That's the joint summer camp, 7 weeks. Our agreement was if they're going to put some money in, which they have,
Okay,
and we feel like we should, and we will pay that from, if I can get it updated, which I should be able to this week, I hope, ESSER 3, because we're using title money to help us with the full steam ahead for our 1st through 5th or 6th grade level. So we'll use ESSER 3, hopefully, is the plan for this.
okay. So I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve to pay staff a unit of work per hour per the ECTA collective bargaining agreement to work with the Teens with Tools LLC Unit 40 camps for summer of 2023 to be paid with pending ESSER.
Well, I just put, yeah, that's fine.
ESSER 3. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Chad,
I'll second.
second by Jane. Roll call.
Chad?
Yes.
Desha?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Jane, yes.
We haven't gotten an update yet, I don't think, this week. Probably wouldn't get it till later in the week, but we're almost full on all of those, and it was up to 15 students. But yeah, if you're writing an article in the paper, tell them to reach out, because there's a few openings still, and we would like it to be full.
It's
Some do
exciting.
have a waiting list, but some are close. Got some more requests today, so.
Yeah, you got,
And then there's also the STEAM camp as well, and those numbers. Do we have an update on that?
you know, I don't on that, because that goes directly to them, I think.
I don't know, I've heard anything.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be very popular.
But I think they can handle, what was it, about 100 per class, or 2
Let's
classes?
get a minimum of 60, if I'm not mistaken, up to 90.
Wow, that's a lot. Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the notice to, I'm sorry.
Keep going.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I was just double checking, make sure we voted on it.
we did vote, right?
Yes. we
Okay.
did.
The next item on the agenda is the notice to amend the FY23 budget.
So we've got a couple areas that we have had some concerns this year, and for multiple reasons, and I can get more in detail for the next board meeting if you want it, or come in and see it, or it's posted on board book, right? After this, it will be for 30-day layover. Notice will go in the paper for hearing for the July or for the June board meeting as well. But the operations and maintenance, there are several items that we are increasing, different line items. You know, the EHS turf and scoreboard project, that was budgeted at $750,000. That came back at $920,000. So that was obviously something that wasn't planned for.
On that topic, has everyone that committed to pay as far as sponsors and everything like that?
Kind of. Is that a good answer?
So if I can get more information on that at some point.
Well, I have it, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Not sure we're going to end up where it was initially stated, but I think it'll be close. There's still some outstanding donations.
Okay.
The EHS, the junior high asphalt at Central and landscaping at Central. We increased that, what was it, about 325,000, just because those came back higher than what was budgeted. Electricity and gas, it was higher this year, probably for everybody, and we had estimated, I was involved in that process last year, we did estimate, and again, it's kind of shooting in the stars, you have no idea, so you'll probably budget higher than that next year, just to be safe. On that line, I do think it's something that down the road, we will hopefully be seeking some potential solar that might put us in a position to reduce some of that rate. But we'll come back with some information on that down the road. But I think this is a great time to throw that out because of the increase that we experienced this year. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure what we were on line 14 or line 128D. Cover all additional costs. It was about $200,000 increase. So that's, the operations and maintenance side of things. I do think that, as we stated earlier, our building, it's a little over 20 years old, starts to wear, and that started a little bit this year. I don't know if it started before this year, but it has this year. So transportation line, we've increased some of those. Repair costs are up. Part of that is due to the fact that we don't have that second person out there as an assistant that can do some work and keep us from taking it to some local repair shops. Just a thought to keep in mind. And then we've been down this a little bit, but our current mechanic will probably retire within the next next school year. If we don't replace that mechanic with someone that can do work on buses and things like that, this number is going to continue to climb at a very, very high rate, much more than what you're seeing right now. We've increased it about, about 50,000 for this year's from what we had planned in the beginning. Then I don't know if we must not have budgeted enough in the lease payment to the bus lease payment line for some reason. So we obviously increasing that. You also need to keep in mind the state prorated our transportation this year again. And they have been doing a pretty good job the last previous years, which I think they call spade a spade. In the last couple of years, they threw lots of money at districts, and we weren't running buses there for 1 year and still got money. And so I think some of the talk that I've heard was, well, you were running buses and we weren't running buses, and we gave you all that money. So now maybe it's our turn to not give it to you. So I don't know how that works at their level. I know how it works at our level. If we don't get the money we need, we have to go find it somewhere else or get into fund balances, which we probably will a little bit, transportation this year. Fortunately, we're pretty solid in our fund balances, so that won't be a big deal. That's actually the only two areas that we have concern for the budget. And this is just on the expenditure side. Okay. So I'm not providing revenue side. Revenue wise, we can get some information for you if you need that, but we have areas that the revenue is up. We have areas, as I just said, with transportation that's down. We're still short, I believe, one transportation payment. You should get 4 a year. Several years, as districts, we only got 2. Some years we got 3. Some years we got them after the fiscal year closed. So you got it in the next year. By the way, that doesn't go back onto that previous year's budget. it stays with the one moving forward. So somewhere lost in the mix, I'm guessing we're probably still a couple actual payments short for transportation, as most districts are. But overall, we'll come back and we've proposed a fairly decent amended budget that is not real bad.
Okay.
Because we've had lots of transition in the business office this year, especially with me trying to do it for a couple months there without other folks around. So I hope at the end of the year we'll be in good shape. Rem seems to think we will. I lean on him right now heavily, obviously. And then we'll start budget preparation, here in the next few days, weeks. Matter of fact, come back to you, I believe, I guess we come at the July meeting, I'm pretty sure, with a tentative budget.
Okay.
Questions, comments, thoughts?
So the fall year tentative amended budget will need to be posted for 30 days. A budget hearing will be held at the beginning of the June 26th meeting. And then you should have Rem's memo and board book.
So we would ask for that meeting to start about 5:45 June.
So we'll start a little
26th.
early.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what we did last year.
Okay, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Anything you'd like to see that I've not provided you already?
No, it just sounds like
We'll keep an eye on it in the next
general-
30 days.
just like our own personal budgets, sounds like. I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the FY '23 tentative amended budget as presented.
Motion?
Motion by Chad. Second by Jill. Roll call?
Andrew,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Tricia.
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is health insurance.
Health insurance, and I don't want to go through all of this. If somebody in the audience has a question, ask, but the 2023-24 health insurance, we are self-insured. Most districts are fully insured. This district made a change, I don't know how many years ago. Reason I say that is when that change was made, in meeting with the two unions leaderships and a couple of my administrators with me, and presenting with Kim Milbacher what we're looking to do with this next upcoming year. It was brought to my attention that there was a health insurance committee that met previously. I asked them if it was okay this year, since it's this late, that we didn't go that route, and they were okay with that. I think the wholesale change that they were making years ago when that insurance committee was together was moving from fully insured to self-insured. That's a whole lot bigger deal than moving from paying whatever they're paying to, it's a 4.4% increase in premium rates for this upcoming year. Just so you know, I think we put it in board book. I had the insurance company run a chart on what it looked like and how this has progressed over a period of time. So you've got some trend data. The trend right now, knock on wood, and I pray that by saying this, it doesn't change. The trend has been very good for you as a district by being self-insured in comparison to the marketplace, when I think the average at the marketplace was about, was it 8%?
6.6.
6.6. And we're looking at 4.4. So when you go and look at that trend data over that period of time, granted, a lot of districts are in the Egyptian trust, and Egyptian trust fluctuates from 3% to 22% just about every year. I'll be honest with you, I've been through that process, and very seldom is it 3%. It's more to the 6, 9, 12, or maybe even 18 or 20%. So I think based on what I've seen, this is a really, really good plan to continue with. The other piece to this that I would throw out is we are looking to offer a third option this year that hasn't been offered in the past, and both groups have agreed to that. It is a very low premium and a very high deductible option. They don't have to take it if they don't want to. It also has a health savings account tied to it, that if they want to take that option, and they are disciplined and willing to save their money off of the premium side and throw it into, HSA to be able to use it back on when they have some situations arise. I think it could be a great option for them. Both units have been okay with it. It's change, so there will still be some questions as we move forward, but by all means, nobody has to do it. We're not forcing someone to do that. It just gives them another option. The two options that we've offered for years are very similar to each other, so we thought maybe if we throw one out there that's significantly different, some people might be attracted to it and might not.
Would the district be contributing to the HSA?
No,
And some employers do that.
at this point, I don't think we are.
Do you know, who the HSA is through?
Nope, we haven't determined that yet. My guess would be it will be the same bank that we utilize for everything else right now. Which is Midland. But we haven't really gone out and sought anyone just yet. We want to make sure you approved, all the unions approved, which they have. And this won't really go into play until open enrollment, which is August, September anyway, so.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the renewal of Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance and set the premium rates for the 23-24 as presented. Motion by Desha,
Second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Jessica.
Yes.
Okay, that concludes the regular board meeting. We're now ready to go into closed session. Looking for a recommendation or a motion and a second to enter into closed session for student discipline, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employees of the district, and or litigation when action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular district has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the district finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the closed meeting minutes. Motion by Desha,
Second.
second by Andrew. Roll call.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Andrew.
Administrators, thanks for being here. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow, maybe. Jimmy Seacrest, you're going in first, if you don't mind. Actually, you're the only one I've got. We will have action afterwards too. And I'm gonna keep, Katie's gonna come in, close session class as well.